Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Alchemy in the Burning Crusade. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love Alchemy and I have made a ton of money in Alchemy. Alchemy made me my fortune back in WoW Classic, and now I'm kind of diving back in the deep end and starting to use it to make money again. So I'm going to kind of touch on some of the basics, but if you want to get more of an overview of Alchemy, I have another video that I'm going to link in the top right hand corner here. You should definitely go watch that first if you're not familiar with Alchemy in the Burning Crusade. On this character, I'm a potion master, which means I get bonus procs, or in other words, additional results from the craft. Generally, you can expect between 15 and 20% extra potions off of what you're making. So since I'm a potion master, and since I do get those additional procs, I'm going to primarily be focusing my attention on the recipes that do give me additional procs, because they will give me more profit that way. So how do you decide what to make in Alchemy? Well, I made a spreadsheet. Yeah, of course I did. And this might seem kind of complicated, but it's really very manual. I don't have anything that like auto pulls through API. I don't know how to do that. If anyone wants to help me out, feel free to do so in the comments. I'm going to link this spreadsheet down below, so if you want to use it for yourself, make sure you make a copy. Don't send me a request for access to the spreadsheet. You should just be able to make a copy of the spreadsheet, and then once you have your own copy, you can change it however you want. So just to kind of explain what's going on in this worksheet, column B is the average daily sales according to TSM. And what we're looking at is for numbers that are above 3, 4. That's kind of what I've been focusing on for the past week. Column C is the cost to make the potion or elixir or flask without factoring in proc rates. Column D is the cost of making the potion with a proc. So you see the column D prices are a little bit cheaper than the column C prices are. Anything that has blue cells in my worksheets, these are numbers that you are going to hand key in to auto update the formulas. So these are all the sale prices for each item on my server. So what I've done is I made a TSM price list, and using the search browse feature in TSM, it'll just pull these prices for me, and it takes me maybe like 5 minutes to update my worksheet. So I'll do all of the sale prices for the items in these blue cells. And then the cost of materials is up at the top, going across. So these are all like your herbs and your primals and motes and all that. Column F is the profit with no mastery. So this is taking into account the sale price less the cost of materials. And column G is the profit taking into account the mastery. Now you might say that 15% is a pretty conservative estimate for proc rate. I have been seeing more than 15%, but 15% is kind of my baseline that I like to use to make decisions about what to make. So in my formulas, I have a couple like nested formulas up here. And what this is doing is it takes a look at the average daily sales, and if it's below 3, it doesn't even give me a profit, because I don't want to waste my time with it if it's not going to sell. Like Flask of Petrification, like these don't sell, and it's not worth even bothering to try and make them. Some of these, you're going to see like a couple things sell, like Iron Skin Elixirs. It looks like there's a few that are selling. So when you do have like a low average daily sales rate, you're going to want to make less of those. So let's say, for example, I usually make like 40 things when I want to sell it. Iron Skin, I might just make 5 and see if they move, or just not make them at all. It really depends on how much money and time I have to throw at things that may or may not sell. Anyway, this nested formula returns a result of 0 if the average daily sales is below 3. It's also going to return a result of 0 if this item does not craft at a profit. Now, the reason I have it going to 0 is to allow me to filter my results. So if you look at like row 10, 12, 14, 15 here, see that they'll have zeros. Now what I'm going to do is go to my filters. I'm going to uncheck the 0, hit OK, and that's going to only give me the items that are profitable. And from here, I'm going to just kind of go through the list, and anything that has a decent profit, I'm going to start crafting those. So I've been mainly making super mana pots. That's probably where 70% of my profits from Alchemy are coming right now as a potion spec alchemist. I've been making between 50 silver and 1 gold on every potion, and I probably sold over 200 mana potions on Thursday. And I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit because I really should have started on Wednesday. But I was kind of focusing on jewel crafting. Anyway, super mana potions sell really well. Also, destruction and haste potions sell pretty well. Iron Shield, this is a potion recipe that drops in Old Hills Bread. I don't have this one yet. It is something that is on my list to go and get. Now, something that's interesting, if you are an elixir spec alchemist, you will proc on flasks and elixirs. Now, if you take a look at the list of items that can craft at a profit for the elixir spec, it's a lot more stuff than the 3 potions that I can make for potion spec. So that's something to consider when you're choosing your specialization. Elixirs and flasks definitely have a lot more variety of things that people can buy, but we'll have to keep an eye on the average daily sales, and I'll probably start off updating this every week until things settle down in the economy. Right now, pricing is kind of wonky. So right now we're seeing a lot of stuff flooding the market because people have been hoarding materials. I know at least on my server, primal prices have been dropping like crazy. We'll fingers crossed that they go back up. It's something I invested in and kind of don't want to lose all that money, but thankfully I diversified. So overall, I'm still coming out ahead. I haven't sold any primals at a loss right now. I'm just continuing to hold on to them. It hasn't even been a week since phase 2 started. So patience is key there. All right. So now that we've decided what to make, we are going to go and just double check our prices on our materials. And I like to do this because TSM doesn't always give me super accurate profitability numbers. So right now, super mana potions, the lowest they are is 210. So let's look at Dreaming Glory. And I just like to double check with the calculator because sometimes the prices are a little wonky. And then we're going to add 40 and make sure you also include the cost of the imbued vial. So right now, a super mana potion costs more to make than it sells for, which is not ideal. So we're probably going to hold off on making these things right now. Super mana potions did go up quite a lot during the raid week. They were up to 3 gold each, and right now they're at 210, so that's a pretty big difference in price. But right now I'm not going to take the gamble, and I'll just wait for the prices to go back up or for the prices on herbs to fall. One or the other is going to happen. So many people buy super mana potions that it's hard for that potion to stay at a unprofitable rate. So my general rule of thumb for making things with alchemy is I want to buy my materials in non-peak playtimes. That's when they tend to be the lowest. So herbs get pretty cheap on the weekends in general, and also early in the morning. So I'll usually be up at like 6 a.m. my time. And I'm not saying you got to wake up at 6 a.m. to buy herbs. I'm up anyway. So that's when I usually check the auction house and buy up cheap herbs if I know they're going to sell. So I play on a high population server. So this means that more potions, elixirs, and everything just sells than you would see on a low population server. So I'll usually list things all day long. I'll do like one batch of stuff in the morning for a 12-hour duration, and then I'll also relist my stuff before raid time. A lot of guilds raid at 7 p.m. on my server, so I'll try and like list everything around 6:30 so that people have a chance to grab things before they go to raid. And this strategy has worked really well for me to make pretty good profits and to just move products. So I'm going to continue to do that. So what I like to do with anything that's alchemy, if they're expensive items, and by expensive I mean they cost more than 4 gold per pot, I'll usually list them in singles, and I'll try not to list a ton of them. So 20 is kind of my max for listing single stacks. If I have more than that, I'll usually list like 20 single stacks, and then I'll list the rest in like 5 stacks. And I do not use the auto list feature in TSM. I use that for listing my jewel crafting stuff because jewel crafting is totally an undercutting game. With potions, it is a little bit less so because people just need so many of them that the products tend to move really fast. And I've seen people buy my stacks of 5 of potions before they buy like other cheaper single stacks. If I'm selling like super mana potions, for example. So this is a really good example of I'm probably not going, like I'm definitely going to undercut on these because I want them to move. But typically if this were like a flask and there were only like a few, like 5 stacks, you can go and list a single stack and just undercut the first single stack, just ignoring like this guy up here. And this is a really good strategy for maximizing your profits because if you look at these numbers, you could potentially make $1.50 gold more per potion by listing a single stack, undercutting the next highest single stack over listing your 5 stacks. And this is something you need to experiment on your server. Like your mileage is going to vary because all these servers are different. A high pop server is going to function different than a low pop server. And PvE servers are going to be function different than PvP servers, depending on faction balance. Like there's so many variables out there that affect the price and like how people buy and sell on servers that you need to just kind of experiment on your own and see what works for you. But I urge you, if you are interested in selling things on the auction house that you're crafting, don't get discouraged if you have a little bit of failure and a little bit of loss. You want to try and mitigate that as much as possible. Maybe if you see a potion price tanked over the weekend, like just wait for a raid night for that to hopefully recover. Don't just throw your hands up in the air and be like, oh no, I'm losing money now because I crafted this thing and I need to sell it. Try not to get yourself in a position where you need the cash now. All right, so the last thing I want to show you is the add-ons that I used for crafting. If you watch my jewel crafting video, you'll be kind of familiar with me going through the TSM interface. So what you can do is create a list of items you want to make. So let's just say, for example, I'm making 40 super mana potions. I'm going to make like 10 of those. What else? Let's pretend that I'm making flasks too, even though I'm not going to make flasks on a potion spec alchemist. If I did want to make flasks, I would get someone who is elixir spec to make them for me because I want those extra profits. Okay, so I have all my items that I want to make. And if we go over to the gathering tab, it's going to give us a list of materials to buy. Now from here, I can look and mouse over and see if I have some of these things on my bank haul. Like right there, I have a bunch of Dreaming Glory. I'll probably use that before buying more because the price has been pretty high lately. Fel Lotus, I have enough of that to make my things. Felweed, I need to buy a little bit of that. If you hold down Shift and click on an item while you have the auction house interface open, it'll search for that item. And from here, you can just buy whatever you need. Same thing with Mana Thistle. Ooh, the price of Mana Thistle went back down. Oh man, this was up to almost 15 gold last week. It's pretty crazy. And here, I would just, be buying what I needed. So once you have all your materials, you can go back to the crafting page and you can either hit craft next or you just left click on the item that you want to make. And I'll usually sit in front of the auction house while I'm making these. I'll queue up maybe like 3 or 4 different recipes and then be crafting those while I'm looking at more stuff on the auction house. This way I'm kind of like maximizing my time spent in game, and I'm not wasting it just sitting there watching my toon just go through the cast bar crafting items. So I don't like using the auto list function in TSM for alchemy, like I said before. If you want to learn more about using TSM, I have a couple tutorial videos on those that I'll link up above. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Alchemy is still going to be profitable. It's like, I don't think Alchemy's ever not been profitable in the whole history of WoW. So you just gotta pay attention to prices, and when you're first starting out, just make a few of them. See if they move. Alright, thanks for watching this video, guys. Bye!